Hi, boys and girls. Well, today we're going to read one of my favorite stories, and this one is called Pumpkin Jack, and it's written and illustrated by Will Hubble. So he wrote the words and he drew the pictures. That's pretty clever. I really like this one, but there's something funny about this jack-o'-lantern. I think we're going to have to read and find out why he looks just a little bit funny. Not quite as good as some of the other jack-o'-lanterns we've seen. So let's find out what's up with Pumpkin Jack. Here's our title page, and Pumpkin Jack is definitely looking good there. Much better than on the front. When Tim carved his first pumpkin, it was fierce and funny and just perfect. A jack-o'-lantern this good deserved a name, so Tim gave it one, Jack. I like how he's using a marker to draw the face on before he cuts it out. He's making a plan. Long after the best trick-or-treat candy was eaten, Tim still kept Jack. At night, when a candle made Jack's face dance on the wall and filled the dark with warm pumpkin smells, Tim felt Jack was almost magic. Yet too soon, the spell was broken. Wow, so he got to keep Pumpkin Jack for quite a while. This pumpkin's beginning to rot, announced Mom. It's time to throw it out. Tim knew it was useless to argue. He carried Jack to the garden, which was filled with brown ghosts of last summer's plants. Well, a dead garden is better than a trash can, thought Tim. Still, it made him sad to leave Jack outside and all alone. So he's put him in the garden, just letting him sit there. I wonder what's going to happen to him. He looks kind of okay right now. I think that's about to change. Whenever chores or play brought Tim to the garden, he looked at Jack. Every time, Jack was a little different. He became wrinkled, and his fierce smile began to look a little silly. Does anyone know what's starting to happen to Pumpkin Jack as he's sitting outside? Yeah, he's starting to rot, or in the science world we say decompose. He's starting to decompose. It means break down. Yikes! Mold spread over Jack's bright orange skin. As the days turned colder, Jack grew flatter. Wow, you can really see that mold creeping over. Gross. And it looks like he might be getting soft and squishy. Winter began. Soon Jack was hidden beneath the snow, and Tim forgot all about him. The cold, heavy jacket days came. Snowmen and sliding days, indoor days, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's. Wow, time is really passing. They said a lot of holidays there that go over time. When all these days had passed and the March winds melted the snow, Tim found Jack. I wonder what he's going to look like now. And we can just see his smile there. We can see his stem. That's about it. I wonder what he's going to look like. Whoa. There wasn't much left. Just a faded and crumpled pumpkin skin, a stem, and a few seeds. Jack's Halloween magic was a distant memory now. Tim scraped a little blanket of earth over the last bits of his pumpkin. Goodbye, Jack, he whispered. Oh, Come on, scientist, we know what would happen. If you scrape some dirt over some seeds, kind of like our friend Rebecca Estelle. I wonder what's going to happen next. When spring turned barefoot warm, a tiny sprout appeared where Jack had been. Tim found it and guessed what it was. Guess who's coming back? In the days that followed, Tim weeded and watered and watched the sprout. Slowly and steadily, the plant changed and grew. It branched and spread a web of vines over the ground. But no pumpkin appeared. Ooh, but we know what's happening, don't we, scientists? We've seen the life cycle of a pumpkin. Seed, vines. What comes next? I think you're right. I think it's going to be a blossom. The days turned hot. Flowers opened on the plant each morning. Yellow stars that twisted shut forever in the afternoon. Still, there was no pumpkins. Who do we need to come and visit the flower? Yep, you're right, a pollinator. Oh, I see those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals again. Finally, Tim found a little green ball growing behind a crumpled blossom. A pumpkin! Tim let out a whoop and ran to show his mom. By August, the plant had spilled out onto the lawn. Tim's favorite game began to be pumpkin hunting. He carefully waded amongst the leaves, searching for green pumpkins like hidden treasures. I can see a blossom here. I can see the end of a teeny pumpkin here. I can see a bigger green one over here. Oh, and here's a little one just starting under that blossom. So he's got a few. School began again, and the days cooled. Tim had less time to visit the garden, and when he did, the pumpkin plant seemed tired. There were a few new leaves, and the old tattered ones no longer hid the fat green pumpkins. Then one October morning, we're in October, Tim woke to see a frost coating the garden. The frozen plants seemed changed, like pale blue glass. So it was very frosty. There's a frost over those leaves and made it look transparent. But I see a big pumpkin here. And I see Tim looking out his window. After school, Tim discovered what the frost had done. The pumpkin plant's leaves were as limp and wet as paper. It was dying. Tim searched among the withered leaves for the unique and unripe pumpkins. He picked them and put them on the front porch, hoping for one more change. So he's picking them. He's putting them up on the porch where they would be protected from getting too wet or too dried out. By Halloween, the pumpkins had ripened to a bright orange. There were many, for the plant had been generous. Tim was generous too. He gave all but one away. So he's being generous and the plant was generous. When you're generous, that means you're giving a lot. What do you think he kept his one for? Yeah, I think you might be right. From jack-o'-lantern to seed to pumpkin again, the circle was almost complete. Now it was time for Tim to do his part. He gave his pumpkin a face. It smiled at him in a fierce and funny way. Tim smiled too and said, "Welcome back, Jack." Wow, so we got to see the life cycle again, and this time we learned about some decomposing, and he did it in a very natural way by just putting his jack-o'-lantern out in the garden. I think we should do the same thing. Maybe we should start a pumpkin jack in our garden. Let's think about it. All right, scientists, go find your pumpkin jack.